let's take a look at a couple examples. So many self-taught fly anglers find they reach a point where the line just isn't going out any farther and they can't figure out why. And a lot of people I work with, we quickly discover that you're casting far too hard and just overall trying way too hard to get the line out. So we can never ever bully or power or force fly line to go out farther. It actually usually ends up going shorter. So when we're casting, we want to have a nice gentle stroke and a nice relaxed grip. And if you don't have those two things, it's going to be very difficult for you to improve your casting. A normal basic fly cast comes up, over, down. When I let this cast go, I can let it balance on one finger. So this will be an initial test for you. See if you feel like when you're making your fly cast, are you making them gentle enough that you can balance that rod on one finger and the line still shoots through the guides. If you can't, chances are you're throwing so hard that the rod will fly out of your hand. So that's going to be an immediate key for you to tell, are you casting too hard? The second one is, do you hear the rod whipping back and forth? So you notice on this cast, you barely can hear the rod if at all. Even on the delivery, it's the same as all the false cast strokes. If your cast sounds like this, there's a good chance you're trying too hard. And what happened here, it ended up a big old tangled mess from trying way too hard. Casting too hard often leads to tailing or closed loops, which end up knots in your leaders or the leader wrapped around your fly line or the hook catching on your leader. Hearing that rod whip back and forth, even if I'm not looking at a caster, I can usually guess what their cast looks like. So let's take a look at what that cast actually looked like and what's happening when we try so hard. See how much this rod is bending as it goes back and forth, and watch how it's actually over bending and it flexes down towards the ground and the water and then recovers back up. So instead of it just flexing out and stopping, it's bent so much it flexes down, bounces back up, but it sends the line down into the water and it essentially pulls out the bottom part of our loops. Now some people just completely bully that cast on both sides, and quickly your arm's going to get very tired, because in order to cast that hard, you have to have a very, very tight grip. Tenses up your forearm, your upper arm, and all that muscle tension and squeezing and all that energy back and forth. You can see how that could get pretty tiring pretty quickly. A more common variation of that I see is casters that only overpower the backcast. So you really don't hear the rod as much on the front, but you can hear it very clearly going backwards. Usually that's from trying to snatch the line off the water so quick that you have to use a lot of muscle to break that surface tension. So if I'm ripping the line off the water, I have to use that muscle, I have to squeeze hard. So see my video about lifting the line off the water, my water pickup video. It'll explain how you can overcome that issue if it's happening to you. But once I make a poor backcast, the line never gets a chance to straighten out correctly, and then I end up with usually a poor forward cast. So to correct this issue, what I normally recommend to my students is to think of your fly rod cork as a little baby bird or a little bird's egg. You want to hold this thing so gentle that you don't want to drop it on the ground, but you certainly don't want to crush it. And if we start thinking about a very loose grip and concentrating on that, it's going to relax your arm, relaxes your shoulder, and allows you to have smooth, fluid acceleration instead of a herky-jerky back and forth motion that usually doesn't lead to proper bending of the rod or proper loop formation. So hold that rod gently, and if you're having difficulty doing that, start doing some practice without even using your last two fingers. So we can cast this rod with only 3 fingers on there. So as I'm casting this thing, my bottom 2 fingers aren't even on there, and when I let it go, practice letting it go on that 1 finger. If you're practicing with that, when we all of us, when we get excited, we tend to tense up and adrenaline starts pumping, and we're going to start squeezing a little harder in the excitement of the moment. But if you're already squeezing super hard when you're practicing, and you're going to be crushing this thing when you get excited, when you see fish, and then everything starts to fall apart rather quickly. So we want to get in autopilot with this hand in everything we do, and part of that is having a very gentle and light grip on that rod. Thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully this helped you become a better fly caster. If you're going to be in the Orlando area, you can always come see me for a one-on-one personal fly casting lesson. I also offer video casting analysis. You send me your videos, I take a look at them, see if I can help improve your cast.